The way say, let's review some of Hilchos Pesach.
Which one, where, what?
So, well, Shin Samach Gimel.
Page since I'm gimel see.
Hey, Shin Samach Gimel.
Got it.
Hey, Shin Samach Gimel. Chelik Gimel. Simitaf Ein Beis Dini Haseido Vidal Traces the boy Lamed Aleph Sifim. Yeh Shulchani Arich and Beid Yoim. Should have your table set. Get the Lahaschal Seder Yashdash. You be able to start your Seder on time. If you move Beis Hamedrish, even if someone's learning, Yakum Yash, if it gets dark, no more learning. Gotta close the Sefer. Shemitzvah Lamayer Lahaschal Seder B'Shul Atinekes. Shalom Yishnu.
I think
Shouldn't fall asleep.
the working people, we shouldn't sleep either.
Atayra Amra, Vigada Talavincha Bayemahu. Kol Makim Lo Yemayar Lahaschal Kiddush Koidim Shia Badi Chashecha. You should not start Kiddush before it's dark. Why not? Other Yevim Tovim you can take in Shabbos early, you can eat Kiddush early, have a Suda early. Why can't I do that the night of Pesach? Kol Makim Pesach and Yochel Lasis Kin. Shechilas Matzah Huksha Lachilas Pesach. Shenemar Matzeh Simeredim Yichluhu. Well, Pesach Nemar V'Achluas Abasar B'Layla Hazeh B'Layla Mamish. We know that the carbon Pesach, it says, V'Achlu is a Pesach, is a Basar B'Layla Zeh. You have to eat. You shechte by day. We never shecht any carbon.
Laila Badah has to be.
But you eat the carbon Pesach by night. Matzah has the same halachas as Pesach. We compare the halachas. Just like carbon Pesach has to be eaten by night, the matzah has to be by night. The kibben shechilas matzah shehi min hatoyra einam b'layla. Since matzah is only at night, pingam kol arba koyis shtiknu chachamim el b'layla b'zman haroy lachilas matzah. Therefore, all the four koyses that chachamim or masakin are also only by night at the time when you could eat matzah. Why? Why can't all koyses be earlier? Make kiddush earlier and have karpas and start earlier. Shekol mashtiknu chachamim ke'ein shel toyra tiknu. So Lamaisa Matzah we learn out from carbon Pesach has to be a night. The Dalek Koisis we learn out from Matzah. Because Kol Mashitik Chachamim was Ke'en Shel Torah. Since Minat Torah Matzah is by night, the Midrabanan of Dalek Koisis is also set up by night. I'll ask you a little question like this. I'll put on a thinking caps. When is the ending? The carbon Pesach was in that night. But when was the ending point? We know when the starting point was nightfall.
Outside?
Oh, Machlekes Tanoim. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah says Chatzos. Like we read every day in davening, we read a Mishnah in Karbanis. A Pesach Eini Nechel Ela Ad Chatzos. Clear Mishnah. However, that Mishnah is the opinion of one of the Tanoim, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. However, Rabbi Kiva held differently. He was chaylik. And Rabbi Kiva held a whole night. You can eat the carbon Pesach a whole night. So it was a machlekes. This machlekes was never muchra. It was never decided. Meaning we have two opinions and we have to be concerned for both opinions because it was never machriya lahalacha whether carbon Pesach is by chatzos or a whole night. Now, what is negeya to? We don't have carbon Pesach today. Matzah. What about matzah? And afikoyim. But first discuss matzah, right? Matzah is min haTorah. Even today, matzah is min haTorah, even though we don't have carbon Pesach. So when I have to eat my matzah, moitzi matzah, according to Bekiva, I can eat it a whole night. My matzah, my yoytza, my mitzvahs matzah for the seder. I don't have to be careful about chatzos. If I want to say Haggadah and talk say Manashtana with the children and the grandchildren, it's chatzos. Big deal. Bekiva says you could eat the matzah after. Even before afikomen, the regular matzah.
Usually, if you come and you don't wait the whole night, you chatzot.
This all starts from the matzah, from the moitzi matzah, the regular, the chiyuv matzah in Torah. That you have to do it koydem chatzos because of the shita of Allah ben Azariah that we read every day in Davening, the Mishnah, Pesach and chatzos. So just like the Korban Pesach, matzah also has an ending time chatzos. Now, by the way, interesting enough, the Noid Yehuda has a sefer Dogam Ravava, which was comments on Shulchan Aruch. On the side of the Shulchan Aruch, he wrote comments called Dogam Ravava. It's from the Rabbi Chesko Landau, the Baal Noid Yehuda, the one who wrote the Noid Yehuda. So he writes that what happens if someone had an oinus, had something came up, and they couldn't eat the matzah till after chatzos. Now, according to Blazav and Azai, you lost the chance. You missed the mitzvah. It's not going to help eating now. It's like eating tomorrow morning. It doesn't help you finish. You finished it. According to Bekiva, okay, you're good a whole night, yeah, whole night. So Dagamav says, don't eat the matzah, but don't say a bracha. Halachilas matzah, because according to the opinion of Blazav and Azai, you're not yoitza. So you can't make a bracha when you're not sure you need to make a bracha. It's a machlokes, and we don't clearly paskin either way. So I don't know, this is what he says. I think the Mishabruda quotes it. The Alter Rebbe does not discuss the situation. It makes sense, this psak, which could be again an emergency situation. Someone had to go to the hospital or something, and they couldn't sit down to the Seder. The Hatzalah member, he doesn't get back to Seder after Chazayis. What does he do? This is a shayla. Does he make a bracha on his matzah or on his mother on the whole Seder? Because the Seder has to be before chatzais, according to the Lavazim Azayit. It's a big problem. So he obviously has to have a seder. The question is, he says the brachos.
But we don't posting like Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah.
Not clear. Machlekes and this.
But
the old kind of charger. No?
The chatchila.
In other places in the box in your office.
We are yoitzel shader. Please mute yourself.
I had a problem with my son-in-law. He was in Hatzalah here.
Yeah.
And making the seder, he got a call. He has to take the patient to Manhattan. He came back like 12:30. I stayed there, and I did the whole Haggadah with him.
Wow.
I leave him alone. He went for a mitzvah. Everybody was cleaning, and he did go to sleep.
Wow.
I have more, but two couples in the house for Pesach, the stuff.
No.
Kids they work very, very hard. But first time they say that. And they say like an hour before we answer, take a nap. So to make a say like Malabatim, come on. The cook is only in the morning.
Rabbi, I have a question. Is it the
Somebody's talking. 1 second. Yeah.
In America,
you missed the
so wait a second. Over here that we have the 2-night Seder. The second night counts as the first night.
No, the second night you could eat the African menu after Chatzos.
Yeah, what was your question?
Yeah, so you have in Shema what time you can say it until, right? You have the Chachamim Omrim Ad Chatzos, and then that's I guess Lechatchila Ad Chatzos and Bediavad up until
But that opinion holds, the Chacham hold that you're allowed to read a whole night. Minatari you're allowed to, but Midrabanan, they said to read it before Chatzos, so we shouldn't forget. But over here we're talking about, we have an essential argument, essential dispute. When is the essential time for eating the matzah and conducting the Seder? Not Midrabanan, Min HaTorah. Is the Seder have value if it's after Chatzos? So this is after midnight. This is a machlekes, an early Mishnaic dispute. So,
and what blessings would you not say after Chatzos? Let's say you're a Hatzalah member.
Achilas matzah, achilas mar, like the birchas hamitzvahs. Obviously, hamaitzi you have to say, and hadama, whatever you have to say. I mean, you have to have the shaila. I'm just telling you the shita which holds that you don't make a bracha. I want to say something interesting. Afikoimen. Rabbi Azar was bringing up Afikoimen. So because Afikoimen is Zecher to the Korban Pesach. Zecher, we don't have a Korban Pesach today. The Afikoimen is instead of the Korban Pesach, we eat another piece of matzah. Therefore, the afikoman also has to be eaten before chatzos because according to Lavos and Azariah, Karim Pesach had to be before chatzos. That's the reason why we are machmer to eat the. Now, according to the Shulchan Aruch, there's no differentiation between either night. According to Shulchan Aruch, both nights, there's no differentiation. Shulchan Aruch doesn't differentiate that we should eat it before chatzos. Now, obviously, but if you didn't, Shulchan Aruch clearly says yehezar l'chatchila. Obviously, b'diavad you could do afikomen afterwards, and afikomen, remember, is not min haTorah. It's midrabanan, a zeicher to the Karm Pesach. So b'diavad, and there's no bracha on it, special bracha on it. So therefore, if you didn't have a chance, you do it after chatzos. It says a Chabad. The meaning of Chabad was that they would the second night Pesach they were mekel because it's the second night Pesach is Yantav Shein Shabbat says midrabanan. In Eretz Yisrael you don't have it, so second night then they would say you can have the afikomen after chatzos. Even though I heard personally that the Rebbe himself was careful both nights, that he would always look
better to be more
to look at the clock. But anyways, Rabbi Heller always tells people that you shouldn't destroy the Seder because of this. If you see the Seder is nice and beautiful and suddenly there's going to be this whole disruption because we got to get to the finish line of Chatzos, you have to remember always what's more important in life. It's the Chatchila, yes, but remember certain situations, if it's going to ruin the whole mood, and we were only about a fish course and suddenly, no, we're eating the afikomen, this is not going to work. It's not going to be good for the family and whoever's participating in the Seder. So you have to give that thought too. All right? We're not talking about something which is ma'akiv, the diabet. It's something which l'chatchila we try to have the afikomen before chatzos.
Rabbi, one of the most beautiful Seder I had, I used to have like 50, 60 people called before, I can quote my wife, a friend called us, she said her father-in-law want to come. He's about 75, 80 years old from the concentration. He's coming with his aide. So of course, so they came. And then we're starting the Seder. Then I said, today we do different. Manishtana, usually the kids saying it. Today we start from the older guy. So I point him. He stood up, said Manishtana. He said, for 60 years, I didn't say Manishtana. She in the concentration.
Wow.
And we see all of us, 60, 50 people, we all crying.
Wow.
And a year later, he was Niftar. So went to the Levaya, and the rabbi that met the Levaya, he said, he met Shuba by the Azars.
Wow.
Not religious and nothing, but I remember the wording of Manishtana.
Wow.
When he was a kid.
Right, he always said it, yeah. It's something that sticks in your mind.
My kids remind me all the time. Rabbi was the best.
That have people that coming for the Seder, or they go to work next day, unfortunately.
Right, yeah.
So you can't start the dinner and full scarf by 8:30, right? So what they do, they invite you for dinner for 7 o'clock. They give him food and singing and everything. By 8:30, everybody already ate and they relax. And he says, "Now we're gonna eat kazayit matzah." No, they know already. People by 9 o'clock leaving.
Right. Yeah.
They're going to work now. But I have no choice. You're not supposed to eat. But
That's
that's
a
the
mitzvah.
only way. No, otherwise they're not gonna come. They're not gonna come.
All right. Yeah, you have to work it out with the Rav and work out what you do in these situations.
Kazayit matzah at the time.
Yeah, it's especially in Negeya in those places where it's very late.
Important. 4 cups is not so
In Northern Europe, it's very late at night. Even here it's late. So over there it's also late.
Yeah, it's not so bad. 8:30, it's not so bad. 9 o'clock, 8:30, not so bad.
Right? But over there things are very late. Depending where you are, it could be 9:30, 10,
You know what we have to do every Sunday morning? We're Shafit, and then we have breakfast, and the rabbi give a shiur. So by Shafit, we're struggling every time. But when they come to the breakfast, you also have 20 people here. Somebody said, make the breakfast before Tfilah. There's 30 people here.
So what do they do in Europe? So what do they do?
It's a problem. I mean, if from people, have maybe take a nap and then go later. But when you're making for a Chabad house, doing kiruv, you have to figure out what to do and what things you could be maker with. I remember when I was a bacher and we were conducting a seder in a town of Ivanova, which is a 3 hour drive from Moscow. And this town of Ivanova, it was 9:30 was when it was Eresh nightfall. The problem was that the um the transit system in the city closed down at 9:30. Now people that didn't have cars, you had to be like a wealthy individual to have a car. So and these people are all going to use the transportation, and so there wasn't really shaykhs to have a proper seder there the first night. I just remember we were all giving them, they all picked themselves up after this meal, and they're all heading to
Right.
maybe the timing wasn't exactly the way this is what I remember, but maybe I'm off about exactly, maybe it's a little bit earlier. Well, the Maisa was, I remember we all gave them a piece of matzah before, and we told them to eat matzah.
How many people was in the Seder?
No, it was 300 people there.
Wow.
Yeah, young boys. This is how you do it, Chabad. You get training on the job. I was, I think, 17 years old, and maybe 18. And we walk into this room with 300 people. We don't know what we're doing,
When I was a bocher, I did a seder in Australia with another Israeli friend. And luckily, how many people, because I made the list and we're coming and the food. We work very hard. So we know every table we put 3 bottles of wine because each one should have 4 cups. And we start the seder and everything. Comes the second seder, and I said, okay, עכשיו מורידים כל שני. איפה אין יין? אין עוד יין. I know what to do. I don't have any more wine. I calculate,
Oh, they were just drinking
some
it.
people told me after that, you don't do like that. You just put 1 cup, keep everything away. When it comes to second half, I was like stuck. What am I doing now?
Oh, the people were just drinking the wine.
The Israeli people were drinking
They don't
another
care.
way. Boom, they
In
finished.
1972, I conducted the Seder in Sinai Desert
Wow.
because we didn't have rabbinical. It's a basic base intelligence. There's no outside here. So they asked me if I can do it, and I did it with like 200 people.
Wow.
I was so nervous. But we did it. Beautiful.
By the way, the second night in these places, the second night when it's not the formal big seder, so then the big dinner, then you can make a small. I remember the next time we had 40 people, we did it bizman, and you do it properly. But we're not really in control so much because these are not places where there are shluchim. The shliachs there, these are basically Chabad is sending to towns where there are no shluchim, and they're not large enough to host the shliach. Or at least at that point, there wasn't yet a shliach in those cities.
And you're not sure even the people.
But there's a local Jewish community that gets together and they're sending you there, so you don't really necessarily have full control of what goes on and how things are done. Anyways, okay, so we're getting back to the discussion here. Now we know why we need to have things done before Chatzos, because in Machlekes and Loz and Azariah, Pesach and Nechal Ela at Chatzos.
It's the same Rabbi Elazar, Harani Keben Shurim Shel.
Yeah, and the Shita Rabbi Kiva, that you have a whole night. So Lamaisa, let me ask you a question. What about Dalet Koises? What about Dalet Koises?
Sure, that's not.
He says the Kois Kiddush, the first cup has to be by night. Why? Because the Dalet Kois are compared to matzah. Whatever we do by the Minat Torah, we do by the Dirabanan. It's like matzah needs to be at night. Dalet Kois needs to be at night. So you can't start Kiddush until it's nightfall. Let me ask something. What about the last 2 cases? If the beginning Zman is important to start at the time when Achilas Matzah could be, shouldn't the 4th cup have to be before Chatzos also? Just like Matzah?
No.
Good question. So what's the answer to that? If we compare the beginning Zman to Matzah, why shouldn't the ending Zman? And no one is Medayik to have the 4th cup.
Not say the Korban Pesach, but when the cups are not the Korban Pesach.
Okay, but
What about Shachris? You have to start it. You have to start Shachris before Chatzos, but you could finish later.
I like that svara. So Lamaisa.
Yeah.
So what it seems is like this, that even though we do compare for the beginning of Zman, regarding the ending of the Zman, since Dalek Koisis is only Midrabban, and therefore we're not Medayik, and there's a Machloikis when the Siyam Hazman is, Chatzois or Kol Alayla, we're Mako like Rabbi Akiva. That's what it seems to be, what the explanation is. You should just know that the Maharil, the famous Maharil, who was the father of a lot of the Hagi Ashkenaz, the Maharil writes that he heard someone say that you need to have the Dalek Koises specifically by nightfall, not earlier, because of this reason. Because it's matzahs compared, Dalek Koises could be Komash Tiknu Chachamim, should be like matzah. Says the Maharil that this doesn't make sense because the last two koises then should have to also be before Chatzai, so we're not medaykim. That's why he doesn't want to learn like Shulchan Aruch. In his sheet, I mean, he came before the Shulchan, but his sheet is that you don't have to have the first kois. Kiddush can be before. Well, a mice in Shulchan Aruch, we passing like the Trumas Hadeshin, who held that the Dalek koises can only be by night. The first cup is by night. Why in the last two not by night? It's not clear. But the answer to that is going to be that we're more makel, because there you have machlokes at the ending. The beginning is not machlokes. The tchilas is man of matzah says at the top. The seam is man you have a machlokes when the seam is. It's midrabanan we can make it. You'll ask me if a koyman is also midrabanan. Zeichel carbon pesach. So why am I not making with havi koyman? So with chatchila we say to be zoyer to try to do it before. Yeah, the answer is afi koyman even though it's midrabanan, but it's taka zeichel to the carbon pesach, and the carbon pesach was nechol according to the Zayat Chatzais. So when you want to make your Zecher, should be a proper Zecher. According to the Zayat also. Shkindala Koiser are not a Zecher. Are not a Zecher to the carbon Pesach. Yes, because it's Paul Mashatikna Chacham Ke'in Tiknu, we do the Tchilos as man, well the Gabi the Sim as man we're makel because it could go like a Bekiva call a Layla. That's the Hasbara. However, this is a general kasha, and you can ask some people about your seder because the shtickle class kasha. What if we have to? So we start to seder by night because it has to be by night to dalakoisis. So what about the last two? No one's medayik.
What's an echa ala sava? You have to be finished. I'm not hungry anymore. Zecher korban pesach.
You have to eat it al soiva. Yeah, the afikoyim is eating al soiva. Yeah, but not that you kutzva. If you eat a chila gasa, it could be a problem.
More.
Be a little bit careful with eating too much. It actually says in Shulchan Aruch that you should eat 2 kazesim for afikoyim. Why? Because one shita holds afikoyim zeicher to the carbon pesach. The other shita says it's zeicher to the chagiga, the carbon chagiga, which is
so we can divide it.
Now, that's for 2 kazesim. The Rebbe has a chap, and the Rebbe says, the Shulchan Aruch says, if you can't, it's too much for you, eat 1. But the Rebbe has a chap how to make that 1 better. Says in his Agada, the Rebbe writes, that when you eat that 1, kazayis, have in mind that if it's for the shita of Zeichel Carbon Pesach, that's the shita of Zeichel Carbon Pesach. It's for Chagiga, Zeichel Chagiga. So your yaitza really, either way, your yaitza. I mean, if you have a kaira, what's going to end up is that you're supposed to be having a total of 5 chazesim. 2 from Maitzi Matzah, because you take 1 kazayis from the top matzah, 1 kazayis from the broken matzah, you did yachatz. In the middle, you eat those 2 together. Then you have the kazayis of kairach. And then if you l'chatchila do 2 kazayis, you have 5 kazayis. Now, by the way, someone who doesn't have a kaira and they are listening, being yaitza with the balabayis. The balabayis is they're going and getting from the box matzah. They don't have 3 matzahs sitting in front of them. They only need to take 4 kazayis. And 3 b'diavad if they're going to drop that second kazayis by the because this whole suffix of the first 2 is because we're not sure if the kazayis is the middle matzah or the top matzah. So we do both. And obviously someone can't do both, even if they have a kaira, they eat 1, it's also good. Allah try to eat both, and you could be makel with the shear. Because you're eating both, min ha-Torah, you only need 1. So for the min ha-Torah, you eat a little larger piece. But since I'm eating 2, and with two together, I have more than the Minatayra shear. So I could be makel for the Rabbanan, it should be a smaller shear, because so some say that, let's say, for the Minatayra, you'll have a third of a matzah. For the Rabbanan, each kazayis could be a quarter. So basically, eat a half. A quarter of the middle matzah and a quarter of the top matzah.
Yes, people not about making seder only the 2 months.
Right. We one time spoke about it. Not so many people, but this is the Rambam says there is a sheet in Rishonim that holds.
Yakis.
Yakis do it?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
My
So
brother knows the Yakis. I'll check it out.
Only 2 months.
find out. That would be interesting. The Lamaisa,
You don't confirm.
what that is based on is the Machlekes Rishonim. How many matzahs should come to the Seder with? 3 or 2? Some say 2, some say 3.
So
What's the
do
Svaris? They do it on that one.
Still?
On one of them, yeah. Reason being is like this. We know you need a whole year, you need to have lechem mishnah.
Right.
Now we also know Pesach, the Torah says you should have lechem oini, poor man's bread. Now we have different ways of having a poor man's bread. We have, number one, we don't put any spices in our matzah. We don't make it nice and batant with some, like kemach and all these companies put in there some flavors. You can put some oil.
No tahina, no
pepper.
harif.
Yeah, it could be geschmack the matzah. Be a nice tam cracker. Abalamaisa, we don't do it because of lechem oini, because a poor man doesn't have all. And you should know those days spices actually happen to be very expensive in days of old. They used to keep them the lock and key spices. They came from abroad and faraway places.
I thought you meant matzah, but that also.
So it's lechem oini. Besides for that, we also break the matzah at the beginning of the Seder because a poor man, he has a piece. He doesn't have a complete piece. He gets a piece, a shard,
A shtickle.
a shever. So l'maisa, because of this, we break the matzah. So the shaila is like this: when we're having a lechem oini, is that benoisif to the lechem mishnah? That I have 2 for lechem mishnah, and I have a third broken matzah for lechem oini, or is lechem oini teaching us that the rasha of lechem oini is teaching us that I should have less than I normally have? I have lechem mishnah usually 2, have 1.5. Should I have 2.5 or 1.5? So therefore, the shaila is: do I come to the seder with 3 complete and I'm breaking it? So now I have 2.5, or 2 for lechem mishnah, 1 for lechem oini, or I'm coming to the seder with 2 lechem mishnah and I'm breaking one of them, and now I have lechem mishnah with a broken piece because the Torah wants you to have a lechem mishnah broken. So the Rambam and the Rif held come to the Seder with 2. The Rosh and the Torah and other Rishonim hold you come to Seder 3. So the Mechaber and Shulchan Aruch actually writes that the minig pashut is to come to 3. Minig pashut to come to 3. But in Klal Yisrael. But there are the Gra, famous Gra, the Vilna Gaon right on the Shulchan Aruch. The famous Vilna Gaon, he says, to me it makes sense the Shita of the Rambam and the Rif. Why? He says, what type of anius is this? How are you showing poverty? By every Yom Tov, you have 2 matzahs, 2 chalas.
Now 3.
Now you have 3. That's lechem oini. In order to show poverty anius, you add a third matzah. That shows that you're richer than a whole year. This is the Gra. This is a very shmaka Gra. So this is one of his reasons. He has, I think, some other diyukim in the Mishnah. I don't recall the details. It's a short piece. But basically, the Gra says right over there that I want to pass it like this. So therefore, because of the Rambam and the Gra, the Briskers take 2. And the reason being because the Briskers are from the dynasty of the Talmidim of the Gra. Rabbi Chaim Volozhiner, they are grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren of Chaim Volozhiner, who was a Talmud Muvik of the Gra, the Vilna Gaon. So in that Shtalsha, that Messiah, they took 2. Not only that, I heard that Ramesha Feinstein, also took 2. That's what I heard. As I ever heard, I think there's something with David Feinstein, a Bruvain. I don't know, 1 took 2, 1 took 3. I think there was something by the Seder. I one time saw in the Haggadah, maybe the Bruvain Feinstein, I think he published the Haggadah. And I heard him maybe like talking about his Haggadah, and I think he was saying, they interviewed him about his book that he'd come out like recently, a year or 2 ago. I think like it came out from Art Scroll, and Art Scroll had this like video interview. that they sometimes do. This guy Besser, I think, he makes his interviews with the
he's good. He's good.
someone. So he interviewed the Reuben Feinstein. He came to his house, and he spoke to him about his Agada. And I remember they have some discussion about the two and the three. I remember something about saying that his older brother, David Feinstein, and his father had different sheetas, and each one came, one with three, one with
Their
two.
own.
Episodes to the Seder.
My question about the Afikoma is almost bothering me.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to add another piece of matzah? I don't have enough. I have like Afikoma, I have 40 people. What I would do? I give them a.
No.
So
You
I can
take from
add
the
up?
box. Everything from the box.
Can take from the box.
Today, everything from the box.
Some
We
people-
don't have.
No, you
Used
can't.
to be in Shulchan Aruch, and the Haggadahs, the old Haggadahs in the Shulchan Aruch said that the Balabayis gives out from his Cairo. Traditionally, only the Balabayis had a Cairo. Today, I don't think it's anymore the case, where most people around the table already have their own Cairo.
My grandchildren don't have a kaira. They know everything.
Okay.
What is a Kyra?
The plate where you put all the
Okay.
species.
It depends
that
where
we
you
have
go.
at a state.
Sometimes the Balabais does it if it's, not so learned people or, depends where you
I
are.
mean, always there's some balabais who's leading the seder, but today's days it's more common where a lot of people are sitting around the table have their own matzah cover with their own kaira, just like every boy today has lulav when he's already 3-4 years old is walking around a more mahuzadik lulav than your grandfather thought he would ever have. So today, Baruch Hashem, we are living in times of plenty, and we're able to have access to things, and it's not so expensive to go buy a little plastic kaira with a little matzah cover, and they feel good about it. Okay, the matzah is still expensive, so that you're not getting away with it if you're giving them maybe you could buy these kid size. The kids always want matzahs and this. If you amol the balabais was mechalik from his kaira to everyone. It's already been explained. How did the balabais give everyone the family from this matzahs? We barely have enough. You just have enough for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The vart is those the matzahs were like the lafas that the Bezar some years. He manages to be zoiche to have the soft matzah.
This morning I heard it too. Ashkenazi man made a Sephardic girl, and her father actually laughed.
Yeah, he's doing some years. No?
Shawarma inside.
Yeah.
Sleep. But it sold us so much money. They bought it from Israel like 10 years ago, and I bought.
Remember also, the Sfardim can have hummus.
Hummus only because the name is Hametz.
Yeah, they have someone showed me this clip where you see a Sfardi sitting next to Ashkenazi. Sfardi's all excited with his seder. The Ashkenazi looks, at his plate. He says lafa with his hummus. He has his lettuce. He has everything's going geschmack. It's going good,
You don't even feel it's Pesach.
You have the rice. When the Iranian when Chabad took out the Iranian children, arranged the Hechs, took out the children from Iran during by the revolution in 1979, and they made a big seder for them in Crown Heights. And the Rebbe, before he went to his seder, he would first go visit all the different sedarim that were happening, the communal sedarim, the yeshiva, and the Balei Tshuva, and the girls Balei. Yeah, they certainly didn't have their own, but the Bachrim who were home, the girls all went home. Let's say the Bachrim Eretz Yisrael didn't go home, so the Rebbe went to go see the Bachrim Seder, and the Rebbe went to go check out the Hadar Torah, the Baal Tshuva men's yeshiva. Went to the Baal Tshuva girl Balei Tshuva in Bachar Chana, and with the Iranian, he went to go see the Iranian Seder first, and the Rebbe went inside the kitchen and opened up the pot to see if they had rice. And even though rice is by matzah, he wanted to make sure that they had rice for dinner because that's what they're used to having. He didn't want them to feel uncomfortable not having rice. It was very amazing the sensitivity that I ever had.
In my big tables, when I would say we can have rice, but we didn't have rice because my in-laws were living upstairs, so we respect them. Big deal. 1 week you don't touch rice. Big deal,
Once I went to a Moroccan Seder and I made an almond of vows with the rabbi there and I had some rice. Or maybe I didn't have rice, they just had rice at the meal. What about the Alter Rebbe? What does he say about the 3 and the 2?
Have to forget, right? I heard that the Sfardi wishes Ashkenazi before Pesach, Som Kal, easy fast. Easy fast for the next 8 days. Easy fast.
Actually, there's plenty food.
Shmulik says,
grocery,
you're going to share some of his
unbelievable.
recipes with us.
Plenty.
Potatoes covered with potatoes, with flakes of potato.
What about if you're going to someone's Seder? You could say all the
How many ways can
blessings.
you twist the potato?
There you go.
He's asking question.
They say that, the Chayi Adam, the big G'dayla Poskim, from it was the times of the Vilna Gaon. So the Chayi Adam wanted to aser potatoes as part of kitnius, the Tapuchi Adama, because if they were around in the times when the Gaonim made a takana not to eat kitnius, potatoes would have seemingly also been, it could be ground into flour, just like a kitnius, So the Divrei Chaim said, Divrei Chaim of Tzanz, the Tzanz Rebbe said, 100 years later, he said the Chayi Adam wanted to take away the Chayi Adam of a person Pesach. How do you live Pesach without potatoes? Anyways, okay. So getting back to the halachas over here. So that's been
I have a question. If you're going to a Seder, you could say all the blessings on yourself. And what about your wife? She should be Yotze or she should say them also?
So the wife could do whichever way she wants.
She could say the blessings. She could be Yotze with you. She could be with the Balabais. She could be whatever. And you could do whatever you want.
You could,
Make sure she eat the kazak matzah by herself.
They know what to do. I don't tell them anything.
Don't tell the wife anything. The only thing the wife tells you what to do.
That's what I'm saying. That's a pro tip.
You're a smart man.
Yeah. What did the altar?
The old Haggadah. There's an old Haggadah. There's an ancient Haggadah. It has like illustrations in it. It's like 500 years old. This Haggadah by Marer. There's an illustration of the man standing up and pointing to his wife and saying, "Marer, I don't think you should try this at home. If you try that at home, so v'takazai Marer. The v'takazai Marer." Okay, let's just we don't have Zman now, and I see we're not gonna have a meeting. I just want to remind everyone that Olam for drinking with alakaisis.
Plus, we have two upstairs.
Maybe have only
Nobody my son at home.
Yeah,
Need
6, 8, and 2 more.
Two more.
So remind the Olam that when it comes to alakaisis, there are 3 shittas how much you should drink. It's really three levels, which are really 2. Meaning like this: we have an essential machlekes about the dalakoises. Are the dalakoises just like kiddush and havdalah? It's like a standard koisha bracha. When you drink kiddush, how much do you have to drink? You don't have to drink the whole cup. You don't even have to drink a revius, roiv revius. If your cup is a revius, you drink a revius, a roiv revius. If you drink, your cup is larger, you drink baloi lugnov, cheekful. Cheekful is majority of a revius. Some shittas say the alakais is the same thing. You don't need to drink the whole cup. Drink like you drink for kiddush and have kiddush. That's it. You don't have to drink the whole cup. However, there's another sheet that says no. The Torah does not consider this a standard kosher bracha. This a standard kosher bracha, the ikir is the bracha on the kos. I drink the kos, I drink some of the kos, not to leave it not drunk. But the ikir is the bracha. The alakoisis, Pesach, is not only about a bracha on the kos. Chazal want you to drink the alakoisis. See is the alakoisis. What does it mean, drinking the alakoisis? Drinking the alakoisis, you have to drink the whole cup. So this shita holds you have to drink the whole cup. It's an Ramban. You have to drink the whole cup of the Seder. If you can't drink the whole cup, that shita will tell you drink roiv kois, roiv of that cup. If you have a cup with 8 ounces, drink 4.5, 4.1.
You will be drunk by the 7th cup.
Yeah, and if you have just 1 revius, a bare minimum, that's what you have to drink. That shita says kois, and b'di'evin, whenever we say you need to do something fully, rubei kekule. For example, when you shecht by the behema, the shoichet, you shecht the 2 samanim inside. The esophagus and the trachea, the kana and the veshet. So the din is, l'chatchila, try to cut both, the whole thing. If you just roiv of each, is fine. Rubi Kakuli. We apply this klal all around the Torah. So we're here too. We have that lechatchila drink the whole cup. If you can't drink the whole cup, you drink roiv of the kais. But you have to remember that the ikar shita halach is you don't have to drink the whole cup. Roiv of Ravi is just like Kiddush. So you have ladies and other people that's hard for them. You see, they're not drinking the whole cup. They're leaving over in the cup. Half the cup is still. It's not a problem. It's not a problem.
Diabetic people, I don't drink the whole cup.
So I bought the better that is exactly this. Drop more. I did
If someone has difficulty drinking the cup, can you mix half grape juice and half wine?
Yes, 100%.
Or half white wine or half? Can you mix? There's no problem, right?
No problem at all. If you need only grape juice, only grape juice.
Uh-huh. And why did
only grape juice? Someone that if you can't do it, you can't do it. You try and mishtadel to drink the whole cup. You can't. You have to have a normal seder. You have to be able to function, and people around you have to function, and we don't have to mahader the machran them.
You wait the matzahs before the seder?
No, but you look at it. It's be'erich. Remember, you're having already. If you're eating from the kairi, you're having 2 kazesim. So you don't have to. You're gonna have for sure the shear.
It's not thick and big.
You're gonna for sure have the shear. I'm saying what you should eat is around the erech.
With the pieces the falling.
For 2 kazesim erech. If you're only eating 1 kazais for moitzi matzah, erech 1/3 of the matzah. If you're eating 2 kazesim, you can suffice with 1/2. The oilam eats so much, but it doesn't have any more koyach. It's not good. We don't have koyach to have koyach and yeah. So we don't have koyach to do all the mitzvahs.
Room for the
Right?
For the fikayim.
Yeah.
Are you going to have another shir tomorrow night or
everything
another night?
without pressure? Without lachatz.
I saw the meal by some people. How could you eat so much meat? I don't understand that. Like 4 different kinds of meat. You already stuff yourself with so much matzah. Like,
I have the same sign with a Bart. I heard that there was one time a Rav got up, and the London of the city all came for Shabbos Hagadol drasha. Already in Shabbos Hagadol, the Rav's going to give a drasha. What's going to be the drasha? The Rav says he has such a difficult Rambam to share with the Olam. It's a shvere Rambam, like they say in the Yeshivish world, a shvere Rambam. No, the Olam's getting already. What's going to be the big contradiction? The shvere Rambam that we have to answer over here. So he says Rambam is Rosh Tevis, it's an abbreviation. Rajinka is raisins. Then they would use raisins to make wine. In Europe, they didn't have grapes. Raisins, they had raisins, dried. So you sit the water in the raisins, you make raisin wine. So Rajinka is the reish. The mem is mandlin, you can eat nuts. The charesis and the beis is bulbas. Bulbas in the Polish Yiddish means like kartoffel, like potatoes. Potatoes, a lot of potatoes. And the last mem is matzah. He says, Zeira Shvera Rambam. He doesn't know how to answer this Rambam. The Aniyim, they don't have the oil, they don't have the Russian kids, the man says, Zeira Shvera Rambam. He says, when you have a very Shvera Rambam, he said to the oilam, what do? You look in the Mefarshim. What's the first Mefarish you look into? Kesef Mishnah. You know what Kesef Mishnah means? Double the amount of money. Kesef Mishnah. The double amount of money, the oil, we won't have any problems this year. We'll be able to deal with the Shvera Rambam. That year, he pulled in a lot of money for the Mois Chitim, the Kimcha, the Pischa.
Wow.
We should all have a kosher, and not only a kosher, but a Freilich Pesach. Happy Pesach.